everyone, and welcome back to another video of Race Week. Yes, today I'm going to be asking and going through, was the Belgian Grand Prix really a farce? And the answer, I think we can all agree that the answer to that question was yes. Now, there's a lot of arguments about a lot of the aspects of the weekend. We'll start before the race, actually. There's talks of course, we had qualifying and also the horrific crash in the W Series at Eau Rouge and Raidillon set of corners. And the questions are being asked that does the runoff, is Eau Rouge and Raidillon, does it need to be revised? And it looks actually that there's going to be a gravel trap apparently reinstalled at Raidillon. So, which actual fact, I've seen some old photos of Eau Rouge and Raidillon, and there used to be a gravel trap on that left hand side, so maybe the reintroduction of a gravel trap will help to improve safety. Obviously they've got to, there will be a lot of other improvements that the circuit organisers are planning, but so hopefully that they can improve safety. But again, Sunday they were never going to be going racing in a million years, unlike on Saturday where they were able to get qualifying out until what was it, Q3, that it was horrifically raining, and at that point the tyres just had nothing. Now you might be thinking, well, part of this surely has to be with Pirelli. Does the full wet tyre do enough? Bearing in mind, we very rarely see the full wet tyre in action in any race scenario. I don't think anyone's actually raced on the full wet tyre for an entire race ever, since it was fully introduced. So, yes, we all know that Pirelli's tyres aren't the best, so I think that there needs to work on that. Obviously, we've got new tyres. That's another. There's lots and lots of talking points from the Belgian Grand Prix, and new tyres, of course, for next year. They're going to be wider tyres, 18 inches instead of 13. Well, they're different because the back wheels are larger. I can't remember, but the currently, as it stands, the wet and intermediate tyres actually have a larger diameter than the normal slick tyres. So whether or not that diameter increase will continue, obviously it raises the cars up to try and get rid of the spray a bit more, and also you don't want to be sat down or going through a puddle on those tyres. So yes, I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of work, and obviously there was questions about the spray. That was the big issue, the fact that there was just so much spray that you could not see anything in front of you whatsoever. It was horrific. Now obviously F1 has improved, because there has been races, maybe even 2000, last decade, 2007 maybe, Fuji got brought up in the hours and years that people spent watching, when they couldn't actually see anything, even though that they raced anyway. So yes, obviously safety has to come first. We've gone, although we have lost a couple of hours of our Sunday watching a race, we still have 20 drivers alive, which is the main thing. And it would be a very different story if we had raced and then somebody had been in a big accident. It was Lando Norris was obviously very lucky, and indeed thankfully also the W2 Series drivers are also out of hospital. So that's the main thing, is that we may have lost the race, but at least we've got 20 drivers still alive. So, but yes, it was a farce though. They made us wait 4 hours sitting down, with and the information as well coming out of the FIA to the media and even to the teams, because nobody had any idea what was going on, what the regulations were, what was going to happen, how many laps there were. There was so many different arguments being bandied about. Were there 39 laps? Were there 44 laps? So the FIA communication was poor to the media, and nobody in the end had no idea what was going on. And in the end, technically speaking, we only managed one lap, which then we come to the points, of course, because points, did we really need to have a classification? Yes, it allows Max Verstappen, and if you're a Max Verstappen fan, you're going to have those points, because it makes the title fight a little bit more interesting, because obviously Max Verstappen is only 3 points behind instead of 8 now in the championship. So from a championship point of view, for the neutrals, it's probably better that we see, and obviously helps out George Russell, means that he actually gets a P2, which he did a fantastic job in qualifying to actually get it. I doubt he'd have been able to keep Hamilton behind, but would have seen him trying to fight the likes of Ricardo, Vettel maybe, depending on their setups, and seen how he would have been able to have maybe fought for third place, maybe, depending on what happened, especially after Sergio Perez crashed and he would have been from the back. Bottas would have been Bottas. No offence to Bottas supporters, but the current Bottas is not the prime Bottas. The prime Bottas is 2014. Prime Bottas could have won a world championship in the right car. The Bottas we have now is sadly past it, and yes, we'll see if he can revitalise himself and find that prime form again when he moves to Alfa Romeo, which might be happening in a couple of weeks' time. Announcement, if the paddock rumours are be to believe. But yes, going back to the point system, did we really need to have those 2 laps? And if so, why did we not have those 2 laps at 25 past 2? Why did we not have them then? Why instead keep everybody hanging around at the track? The spectators are fair. Yes, you left a lot of rubbish, which is despicable, but at the same time, for those people who hung around in the pouring rain, as well, and even in the grandstands as well, right to the end, just to see any sort of action, fair play to them. I do hope that they get a refund, because the fact of the matter is 2 laps isn't behind the safety car is not a race, so they should at least get a refund for the race. Not for qualifying or practice, because that ran to full, but for the race, which mainly gets the most money. I don't think the promoter though is refunding people, so there's a slight issue there. We'll see a bit more about that as well to come. But yes, the points, I apologise, I keep going back to the points. The point system needs looking at, because the FIA regulations state that points can be allowed from lap 2. So half points will get announced from lap 2 to up to 75% of the race, and then if you finish 75% of the race or more, then you get full points, obviously. Now, obviously this is the first time we've had half points since Malaysian Grand Prix 2009, where we got quite a lot of racing. We haven't, obviously it sets a new record for the shortest Grand Prix ever. The previous shortest Grand Prix though was in 1991 at Adelaide, where they had 14 laps of the 81 were actually classified. I think they actually managed to run 16, but started lap 16. Now obviously conditions were horrific then, as well, so obviously they weren't really going to run the full race, so half points were awarded, even though that technically speaking they had done what some people have been suggesting, less than 25% of the race. So this is something that's been suggested. Will should only half points be awarded if you've done 25 to 75% of the race. Now obviously there was somebody who suggested that we should have a quarter points if you only can finish quarter to half percent of the race. Now, until it suggested how ridiculous it is to win a world championship by a quarter of a point. But then of course this has actually happened, because 1984 Niki Lauda won the world championship by half a point to Alain Prost, because Alain Prost only got half points at Monaco that year because of the torrential rain. So yes, the whole points scenario has also brought up another set of discussions. There's a set of discussions about the safety car, whether in certain scenarios we need a faster safety car so that the tyres can be warmed up, so that then the drivers are not aquaplaning as much. So this has brought up a massive discussion, and I think we're going to see a lot more races like this. Another alternative is, do we need an extreme wet tyre for these scenarios, with even more grooves or something? I don't know. I don't know where we're going to go from here. There's definitely going to be a lot of arguing about the points, and there's definitely going to be some changes to the regulations. That I definitely think will happen. So yes, let me know what you think in the comments below about the Belgian Grand Prix and about the regulations. If you are new around here, then please do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 gaming content. But until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care, thanks so much for watching, enjoy your day, and goodbye.